Hey everyone, welcome to a special edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Sports Bash brought to you as always by the Embassy Diner located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, by Falcone Law Firm. If you need to speak to an attorney, call them at 631-6074-LAW. That's 607-4529. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. Visit their website at martylyonsfoundation.org. And by where we are right now, Ready Set Studios, a full-service content marketing agency. For a free consultation, call them at 516-509-8277. Good evening. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Vinny Tickets. WizKid Vinny is also here as well. He'll be with us in a moment, and I won't forget about it this time. He'll have the Sports Bash Flash coming up. We are at Ready Set Studios. This is our future home where we're going to be doing the show from in the very, very near future. So we decided to give it a little test drive here tonight.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, we'll still be on the radio every day.
Absolutely. Our 9 o'clock Monday through Friday show will still be on LI News Radio 103.9 FM, but the show will originate eventually from here at Ready Set Studios on LI News Radio, on Facebook, on YouTube, and all the other platforms that we're on, and we're still compiling that list. It's going to be like a Sports Bash media network of places that people will be able to catch our show somewhere down the road.
Yeah, that's a good thing, and especially based on the fact that we have so many channels. We started 6 or 8 months ago, and we just started from scratch, and here we are 6 months later. We have a daily show. Getting rave reviews, tons of views, and a lot of interest in the show right now.
Absolutely. It's amazing. We started with that just a little radio show that was on Saturday mornings, and now we're here, and we can't thank everybody enough for their support. You know, Chris Ganem and his staff has done a great job. Joe Girani and Joe Edelman,
everybody
and
there
JVC has been tremendous. So we were at the Super Bowl. We've been at other big events, and that's really one of the reasons why we're here tonight, too, because a big part of our show here tonight is going to be talking about the event that you and I were at on Monday in New York City. Yes Network with an event at the Paley Center for Media Museum in New York City to debut the new series, The Story of My Number. A big thanks to Lauren Seawald from Sunshine, Sachs Morgan, and Lillis, as well as Teresa Brady from the Paley Center for having us at that event. And it was a wonderful event with a red carpet and a great presentation of the first episode of that show.
Absolutely. And not to sound like a neophyte, but I didn't even know the Paley Museum existed. And you get in there. What a great...
We were walking down the block, and Vinny is checking stuff on his phone, and I'm like, it's right here. He goes, Where is it's right there. It's on there. You see the banners all over. It's a great place. And not only did we enjoy the Yankee event, the Yes Network event, but we also noticed that the Masked Singer TV show has an exhibit, and the Schwartz family will be going to see that.
They will be back.
Absolutely. It's a great place. But before we delve into the Yes Network interviews that we did some great interviews at the event to talk about that new show. It is time for a Sports Bash Flash, brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner is located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. A lot going on tonight. Knicks and Pacers game 2. Yankees, a lot of stuff happening. Rangers back tomorrow. WizKid Vinny's got it all.
Indeed, I do. The New York Knicks are currently trailing 73-63 against the Indiana
You're not supposed
Pacers.
to give us bad news. I'm just kidding.
I'm just reporting.
Keeping it real.
He's keeping it real. They were down the other night, too. So
Yes.
I report the facts and only the facts.
There you go. I'm
but
sorry.
It's halftime. There's still a lot more game to go, but it's also the second round. It's in MSG. It's at the Garden. Let's see what they can do for the next half. The Rangers are off today, but they will be back tomorrow against the Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh, North Carolina at PNC Bank Arena. They're currently up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference second round. And as for baseball, the Mets got rained out today. So their third game against the St. Louis Cardinals got moved to August 5th, which is a Monday. And they're not going to be playing tomorrow either. So their next game will be the start of their homestand against the NL East rival Atlanta Braves. And currently, the Yankees are up 8-2 against the Astros.
Isn't it great when the Yankees beat up on the Astros? It puts a smile on my face.
I love it. I love it. It's a good thing we don't air in Houston.
Well, technically we
We
do.
do, right.
Technically we do, yeah.
But right now, it's the seventh inning. Maybe the Astros can come back. I personally don't see it, but who knows what could happen. They still have all that experience under their belt, and it's a great rivalry, so who knows.
And the Yankees using the long ball tonight.
Yes.
Soto hit one, and Stanton hit one, and Judge hit one, so...
And Vin, just keep it to the facts. Don't let your Met come out here. We can't have your Met come out and say maybe they'll come back. It's 8-1. That's your Met talking.
Well, maybe it's my orange. Listen,
That's your orange and blue.
I got the owner of the Houston Astros in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, so maybe there is a bias there. But either way,
Now the truth comes out.
See, I've gotten used to this whole Mets rhetoric living in the house with three Mets fans.
Yes.
I'm the only Yankee fan in the house, so sometimes it becomes a little bit of an issue, but it's a friendly rivalry. You don't want it to get any more than that.
No.
And here on the show, we don't want it to get
No.
any more than that. Well, thank you very much, Vinny. And if we'll get back to you later in the show. We'll get your commentary on this great new Yankee series because you're big into numbers. We talked about it a little bit this morning on the regular show, and we'll get your thoughts on that series. But before we get into the interviews, we do have a very special ticket giveaway on the show tonight. 2 tickets for tomorrow night's Yankees-Astros game.
Tomorrow early night.
Yeah, why is that game at 5 o'clock tomorrow?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? Maybe because did they change it? I didn't see if there was a change.
I don't remember if it was originally supposed to be a 7 o'clock game, but it's at 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, the only thing that I could think is that if they did change it, just to get the New York fans to go, because you're going to have the Rangers and not the Knicks tomorrow, but the Rangers are playing
wanted
tomorrow.
to get maybe they did change it to get it out of the way before the Ranger game started. Do we have an idea of where these seats are? These 2 tickets.
I'm not really sure what seats will be given away.
So you have to go to the ticket man for that.
Yes. But we will be giving away 2 tickets tomorrow night's game. Maybe they'll get the brooms out tomorrow.
There you go. So this is what you have to do because we don't have the radio station phone number operating here tonight. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to my socials, which is Schwartz Sports on X or Twitter, or my Instagram, which is Peter Schwartz Sports. And this is what you're going to do right now. And you're going to comment to me, Sports Bash. That's all you have to do. You go to my Twitter or X, Schwartz Sports, or you go to my Instagram, Peter Schwartz Sports. You just message me the word Sports Bash, and you'll be entered. And before the end of the show, hopefully we will pick a winner. We'll get in touch with you, and we'll get you to the Yankees-Astros game tomorrow night, Thursday, 5 o'clock, an early start at Yankee Stadium. So now back to the Yes Network, and this is a great series. We got to see the first episode of The Story of My Number, and it was the one that was centered on Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager. Gracie Cashman is the host of the show, and she did a wonderful job on the first episode that we got to see in its entirety. But it's very interesting, and when you think about the Yankees' history, so many numbers come to mind. 27, obviously, for the amount of world championships the Yankees. And you think about their iconic numbers, whether it was 7 for Mickey Mantle, 3 for Babe Ruth, 4 for Lou Gehrig, all the numbers. But this series is going to go so deep into other numbers, relative numbers to the Yankees' history, and I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, the first interview that we did see, they spoke about, weird kind of numbers too. Like, I wasn't aware, I don't know if anybody else was, that Aaron Boone is a descendant of Daniel Boone.
Had no idea.
Right.
No idea.
So at one point in his career, he wore the number 17 and then switched to 19. But at one point in his career, he did wear 17. So one of the questions that you'll see was 1734. And I'm not sure if it was the year Daniel Boone was born but that was one of the questions. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, 2,100 games. Oh, that's how many games I played in my career, or my batting average, or how many hits I had. It could be anything related to numbers that's related to that person.
And it's going to debut on Yes Network tomorrow night, May 9th, the first episode with Aaron Boone that we saw the other day. The series host is Gracie Cashman. If the last name sounds familiar, it should. She is the daughter of Yankees general manager Brian Cashman, and we got to catch up with her on the red carpet on Monday night. First of all, how excited are you about this project?
Incredibly excited. I mean, I've never seen a project like this that blends the careers of these athletes with their personal lives and their past. It's a really amazing project. I can't wait for everyone to see it.
And there's really no other franchise in sports that you could define by numbers than the New York Yankees. So when you dived into this project, were you fascinated by it, amazed by it when you looked at all the numbers of all these great players?
Yeah, I mean, something I love about this project is that we go beyond the statistics. But when you look at the statistics on these players, it's nuts. And so it's hard to ignore that side of things. But we really do go beyond that and talk about their history, their personal lives, and health complications. We talked about Aaron Boone's open heart surgeries. And so there's a lot to go on, and it's just a really amazing thing. But then you go back to the statistics, and you're like, these guys had crazy careers.
I read a story where you used to pepper your dad with questions about the Yankees. How young were you when you started to get into the Yankees, and how fascinated are you by their history?
Very. I would say extremely young, but I think that anybody would be. I mean, first of all, they're the New York Yankees. Everyone wants to know everything about them. But also, they were my dad's coworkers. So it was wanting to know about who was the funniest, like who are you closest with, who's the XYZ, so that's really what drew me to this project, is that I was like, these are the questions I've been asking since I was little.
I don't want you to divulge too much about the show because we want everybody to watch it, but was there a number that came up during the filming of the episodes that really surprised you that you might want to share, something interesting?
There were definitely a few, but I was the most surprised by the numbers. The show is deeply, deeply researched, and I was most surprised always on the few questions that we didn't know what the answer would be. And a lot of times they came up with really interesting stories that I was like, how have they never talked about this before? So I think it'll be a really interesting thing for everyone to see.
Awesome.
And thanks to Gracie Cashman for stopping by our location on
Very
the red
well
carpet.
spoken.
Very, very nice young lady, obviously, just and I think she's an actress also and sings. So obviously she's got a presence, and she sung the national anthem at a Yankee game.
But she was young.
Very young, very young. And she refers to Aaron Boone had to ask permission to not call him Mr. Boone.
Yes.
They had to call him Aaron Boone. And here was the interesting thing, and I love that she asked this question. And I don't want to give away too much from the first episode, but do you remember in the episode when she asks him about that incident where he had the argument with the umpire and said that they were savages in the box?
Yes.
And so Aaron Boone says he couldn't believe how quickly it became T-shirts, and people are buying T-shirts. Well, hang on 1 second. For our audience, I'm not completely disrobing. Just don't worry about it. I got it on underneath here.
Drum roll, please.
One more. Here you go. Savages in the box.
There you go.
There you go.
That's the one.
Got that Savages in the Box T-shirt. So
they left a word out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. The first one.
Yes.
The first one. So there were a bunch of other interviews that went on. The next guy who stops by, and the second time we've had a chance to catch up with him, we spoke to him at the Thurman Munson Award event that night. That was Tino Martinez, and he's there. They're going to have an episode about himself, and we had a chance to catch up with Tino for a few minutes.
Well, Tino, when you saw this project being done as a former Yankee, and you consider all the great numbers in the history of this franchise, how excited are you to see the finished product?
Very excited. When they asked me to be a part of it and told me the idea, I thought that's a really cool thing to do. So doing my part and doing my interviews throughout it, I learned a lot of things that I forgot. Through Gracie Cashman reminded me of some of the things I forgot. But to think about all the other Hall of Famers that have come to the Yankees organization over the years, their stories and everybody else's stories would be really cool to see overall.
There isn't a franchise in sports, maybe the Montreal Canadiens, maybe, that you can delve into like the Yankees, and you played here for a long time. Is it amazing when you think about the numbers, when you look at the history of this team and what kind of a project this is going to be for Yankee fans?
Oh yeah, I mean you're not just talking about jersey numbers. You're talking about World Series numbers and pennant numbers and just so many different things alluded to the Yankees as far as numbers go throughout. So it's an honor, first of all, just play for the New York Yankees, but also to be a part of this tonight here. It's amazing.
So you played for the Yankees for a long time, and you're a big part of this project. Was there a number that came up about you, a statistical number that maybe you didn't even know about that surprised you?
Yeah, I don't quite remember it right now because she asked me probably about 100 questions. And then I can't remember the exact answers though, but I didn't know the answer to some of them. So she had to remind me about the answer to that and go back and retape it again so I could go off of that. But it was some very interesting questions she asked, and you'll see it in the documentary.
Of course, the most important number in Yankees history is 27, the number of World Series. You've seen this team now through the first couple of months of the season. Do you think they have a chance for number 28?
Yes, I do. I mean, they're obviously loaded. They have a great team. They got off to a good start for sure, and there's a lot of high hopes this year. If they stay healthy and play the way they're capable of playing throughout the year, they definitely have a great shot to win number 28.
Awesome, Tino. Thank you so much and enjoy the project.
Thank you.
Our thanks to Tino Martinez for stopping by on the red carpet. Vinny, you love numbers, and I told you were going to really like this series. When you look at some of the people that the Yankees are going to focus, the SDS Network is going to focus on in this series, what's an interesting number that you may have come up with in Yankees history that maybe is a little underrated?
19, and
19.
It's pretty easy for me because that's the amount of wins that Andy Pettitte had in the playoffs, which is more than any other pitcher in MLB history. Think about all the amazing pitchers throughout baseball history in the majors. Not a single one has as many wins as Andy Pettitte. And one could say, oh, it was because he had Derek Jeter and you had Mariano Rivera and many other players. But
Also more rounds of playoffs too, but 19
Yeah.
wins is 19 wins.
Yeah, you could say rounds of playoffs and whatnot, but at the same time, he was still the guy that was there to get it done, and no one has more than him. You think of all these amazing, great pitchers now.
Who's second?
Second is not a Yankee, from my understanding. I was mostly focused on Pettitte himself and his particular
I
numbers.
wonder
That's
if
a
it's
great
one of the
number.
Braves pitchers. I wonder if it's like a Maddox or a Smoltz, because remember, they only won, that group only had the one World Championship, but they went to the World Series a bunch of times and only won the one. Actually, the Yankees beat them twice, but they went to the World Series a bunch of times and only came away with one championship, but they were in a lot of postseason games.
I would assume, just not looking at it, but just based on what I've gathered, Smoltz was way better in the playoffs compared to Glavine or Maddox. So I would guess that Smoltz has the most amount of wins compared to that trio. But nothing against Glavine or Maddox. Obviously, two legendary pitchers in their own right.
Greg Maddox was great, but he was responsible for the loudest I ever heard the old Yankee Stadium, and that's when Joe Girardi hit that triple in Game 6 of the 1996 World Series. I was sitting in the auxiliary press section, which was in the upper deck in actual seats at the old stadium right behind home plate, and when Girardi hit that triple, you just felt the
Shaking.
upper deck
Yeah.
going like this and going like this. And they got to Maddox in that one inning, and it was enough in that Game 6. But we thank Tino Martinez for stopping by. Now we fast forward ahead to the 2009 World Championship, and a big part of it, not the biggest, because there were some big contributions on that 2009 team, but there were some huge hits during the course of that season and the playoffs from Nick Swisher, and he was one of the most energetic Yankees. Now
Wow.
And I said, you'll hear this in the interview, and it bears repeating, that he was not the greatest Yankee of all time, but I can't remember a player that was so happy to be a New York Yankee than Nick Swisher, and I was so pumped up to have a chance to catch up with him for a few minutes on the red carpet.
Well, Nick, there were a lot of great players that played for this Yankees team. I don't know if there was ever one happier to be a Yankee than you were when you were here. Can you talk about how excited you are about being part of this project?
Yeah, just in general. I mean, the fact that I'm up here with legends like Tino Martinez and Aaron Boone, and the fact that I'm able to be up here supporting my little sister, Gracie Cashman, like the fact that I'm able to be one of these guys up here, it's like a pinch me sort of moment. Anytime that you're associated with the New York Yankees, as well as the Yes Network, as well as a show like The Story of My Number, Could not be more excited for this to get out. I think there's going to be some amazing stories. I've got to see a couple little snippets of the episodes, and I can't wait for the fans to see it.
You know, I don't think there's another sports franchise, maybe the Montreal Canadiens in hockey, where you can dive into the numbers of a franchise like you can for the Yankees. So when you looked at this project, was there something that came up maybe that surprised you about the history of this team?
No, not really. I think for myself, I mean, I'm a Yankee, you know, and I know this organization. I'm a baseball historian. I understand, you know, the emphasis that are put on numbers. There's a reason why we have Monument Park, and there's a reason why your number is retired in Monument Park. And for myself, I wasn't able to make it to there, but there's a reason why we have guys that are wearing numbers in the 80s and 90s, because we have some amazing and epic players that have played before all of us. So I think just in general, I think the stories that are going to come out right now about how guys got their numbers, the fun little numbers within the numbers, I can't wait to get this thing going, man. I think it's going to be amazing.
So how did you come up with your number when you got here?
Well, so I had number 33 when I came here, right? And so my father's number, who played in the big leagues for my whole entire life, was number 9. And so when I got number 33, I was disappointed. And my father and I had dinner that night, and we sat down and we started talking about, well, you got to remember, 3 times 3 is 9. So you can have your own identity within the Swisher identity. I think that's pretty awesome. And so my dad and I, we're numbers guys. So if your address is like 5 different numbers and you add it up, like, no, it's number 25. Oh, I was born on the 25th. It's going to be the best house ever. Sort of little things like that. So for myself, just to be able to be part of something like this, the fact that you could have chosen a million different people and I'm one of the individuals you chose, man, it's an honor for me to be here.
How much fun was 2009?
Oh, bro. I mean, I could talk to you about that. How much more time you got, bro? We'll be here all day.
I got all night.
You know? I mean, listen, it's crazy to believe that was 15 years ago, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Come this November, 15 years.
Way too long.
I know. So that's what we're doing, man. And this team this year's been a lot of fun to watch. And there's a lot of similarities with the success that this team is having early in the season now as we had in 09. So a lot of new faces over here. This year, as there was in 09, a lot of different changes. Missed the playoffs last year, just like they did in 08. So I think there's a lot of good juice coming the New York Yankees way this year.
I have to ask you one more question because John Sterling just recently retired as Yankee radio announcer, and of course he was known for his home run calls. Swishalicious for you. Did you like that when it first came out?
Absolutely loved it. And John, who I've known forever, is obviously part of the Yankee family. And for myself, what a blessing and a privilege to have known him, to have been around him, and to have had a home run call by him. Because I know everybody around the league knows what a John Sterling home run call is. So we're going to miss him in the booth, but I hope he enjoys retirement as much as we hope he does.
Thanks so much, Nick.
Right,
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I tell you what, if you're having a bad day, you got to hang out with Nick Swisher. Man, how are you not smile when you're around him? This guy should be a motivational speaker.
Absolutely. He puts Anthony Robbins to shame.
But, and I can't wait to see that episode of
Swisher's number.
The Swisher's,
Yeah.
the Swisher episode of The Story of My Number. And they showed us a little montage of the other episodes. After they showed the Aaron Boone episode, we saw a little montage of some of the other episodes. And Gracie Cashman is interviewing Nick Swisher in front of this wall that's got all the retired Yankee numbers. And if you remember, he took a piece of paper
plate.
and wrote a paper plate,
Yes.
and he wrote 33, and he taped it up on the
Yes.
wall with the other retired numbers. And that was just so much fun. What did you think of how he came up with 33, or his dad convinced him it was okay?
I think it makes sense. I think of him. I think of I'm going to give a hockey example, and because unfortunately they're no longer with us. When Josh Jones got promoted to the NHL, his dad was 19 with the Phoenix/Arizona Coyotes, and that number's retired by the team. Obviously, greatest player in team history. So when he came, he decided to put a bit of a spin on that number. So he's 91. So I think of stuff like that, or I think of like when Wayne Gretzky came in the league. When he went to the Oilers, he wanted to wear a 9 because of Gordie Howe. There was not 9, so he settled with 99, and he made a legacy of his own with that number.
Yeah. Everyone comes up with a different way to come up and satisfy themselves that number is going to work. And people are so superstitious, but it was just great. His smile is so infectious. I can't wait for that episode. I don't know when that one is scheduled. We know Aaron Boone's going to be the first one tomorrow night that we saw. Andy Pettit's going to be one of them. CC Sabathia is going to be one of them. When you think, you mentioned Andy Pettit before with the 19 wins. When you think of CC Sabathia, is there something you as a sports historian and a brainiac Can you think of something about? I mean, for me, when he got traded from the Brewers, from the Indians to the Brewers, he logged so many innings that year, for the Brewers in the playoffs. But that's what stands out to me before he got to the Yankees.
Well, I think of a simple number. 1, the amount of losses he had when he was with the Brewers, when he was traded from the Indians to them. And that Brewers team made it to their first ever playoff appearance as a National League club. Of course, losing to the Philadelphia Phillies in the DS. Back then, there was only one wild card team.
I knew there was a reason why we hired him. Right?
Yeah, he's good. He's
He's
good.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
When
Well,
you talk about CeCe, there is one story. Do you remember the story when he was pitching in a game and somebody threw at one of the Yankee players and he had to pitch, I don't know the number of innings. It was maybe 600 innings he had to pitch. And the Yankee player, and now if he hit the number of innings that he pitched, it was, I believe it was a $500,000 bonus. They hit in the top of the inning, they hit one of the Yankee players. Sabathia came out. If he gets thrown out of the game, he doesn't qualify for his bonus.
Right.
He didn't care. Do you remember that story?
I do.
Yeah.
He was the complete opposite of Mike Messina. Because if you remember when Mike Messina was a Yankee, and obviously he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame and won a lot of games for the Yankees, but one of the criticisms of Mike Messina was that when Yankee players were getting hit, remember Pedro was hitting
didn't protect
Yankees
them.
left and right, he would never throw at Ortiz. He would never throw at Manny Ramirez. But you're right. CeCe threw at a player. He got thrown out, and the Yankees still gave him the check.
They did, yes. But he didn't know that. He didn't know at the time when he threw at him. He's like, listen, you went after my guy? This pitch is I may get thrown out of the game. It's going to cost me $500,000, but that's a Yankee.
That's a Yankee. That's a great teammate, and that's something you like kids seeing because, kids, sometimes they brought up the wrong way. They learn the wrong way how to be a teammate. I'm very confident and proud to say that my two boys are great teammates. Even when they're not doing well individually, I find that they're always good teammates, and I think that's what CeCe Sabathia
Absolutely.
got across when he was with the Yankees. So there weren't only baseball guests at the Paley Center on Monday night for this Yes Network event. There were other sports stars and celebrities and notoriety that were there. And the first guy comes across is a hockey player, Ron Duguay, the former Ranger, and obviously the Rangers are in the middle of a playoff run, up 2-0 against Carolina. Now, we taped this interview on Monday night, so remember at this point, the Rangers are only up 1-0. But here is my interview on the red carpet with former Rangers forward Ron Duguay.
Ron, I know you're here at a Yankees event, but you got to be all pumped up about the Rangers into the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I was at the game last night, and from what I've seen, especially after winning the President's Cup, they're real. So they're one of 6 teams that can win. That's how balanced the league is. But when I look at the Rangers, going into the Carolina series, I said, I believe they can beat them in 6. I favor them slightly because of a couple of things. Number one is always goaltending. I like the coaching. But special teams. So they can't take penalties. Carolina can't take penalties against the Rangers. So what happened last night is what I thought was going to happen, and I believe that it could be in 6.
It looks like, and also from watching Carolina against the Islanders in the first round and watching them last year too, they just shoot the puck from everywhere, and that causes a lot of problems. You got to block a lot of shots, and how do you think the Rangers will handle that over the course of a 6 or a 7 game series?
Well, what happens is that when you go up against a team, you dissect everything. So you have an awareness of what their tendencies are. So you go against their tendencies. So if they prefer to shoot from the right or from the left, or they move the puck around, you kind of know that. So players are aware of it. And often it is for the defenseman, it's clearing the front. Have your goaltender see the puck. So you kind of do that, block people out. And then other guys out front, they are going to try to block shots. So yeah, that's what they think. They think get pucks to the net with a screen goaltender. That's the idea behind it.
When you look back on your time with the Rangers, and obviously here at a Yankees event, it's so close-knit, the sports teams that are in this New York area. How much fun did you have being a Ranger and getting to know the other teams in town while you were here?
It was. There's nothing like it, and that's the one thing when you retire, that's what you miss. It's the energy of the building, the New York Ranger fan. It's Madison Square Garden, It's competing like I love competing against the Islanders. Not so much against the Flyers. Love competing against the Rangers. I mean the Islanders. And it was a respectful.
By the way, as an Islander fan, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a respectful battle. Like we disliked each other in the way we were trying to beat each other, but at the end of the day, we shake hands and job well done. So I love the competition. I love getting hit. I like hitting. Everything about hockey is a lot of fun.
And did you go to a lot of Yankee games, and do you still get to see the Yankees? And how excited are you to see what this show is all about?
It's for me. I knew Reggie Jackson, right, back in the late '70s and '80s. So I was very aware of the Yankees. The thing is, it's not our season, so I always go home. I wouldn't stick around. So I would go to the occasional game. I would really watch it on TV. So now I need to come back and start watching some games now that I have a little more time. But I love the Yankees. I've always loved the Yankees. To me, Yankees, Rangers, I'll say the Giants, the Knicks. So we're all kind of a family competing and trying to win for the region.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the.
You know, in my older years, I've become less of, like when I was younger, you're an Islander fan, you hate the Rangers. And I still hate the Rangers, but you respect these guys. He was so cool to talk to.
Yes.
And I had him on one of my podcasts a couple of years ago. He was great to talk to. Great. And he was there with his girlfriend, Sarah Palin.
I had no idea.
You did not know.
No. Did you know?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
you knew
Yes,
that?
absolutely.
Did you know that, Chris?
I miss him on MSG. When I was younger, seeing the Rangers games, I would always wonder, what is Ron going to wear today? What is he going to have that's going to catch me?
Sassoon. Wasn't he part of that whole Ranger group that wore the Sassoon jeans and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, it's him and Don Cherry is like the best drip for those the kids like me use for clothing, for what they wear. It's phenomenal. And I always do miss seeing him, but I'm so happy I got a chance to speak with him.
Oh, he was fantastic. Now, I just want to give the information out again. We're giving away 2 tickets for the Yankees-Astros game tomorrow at Yankee Stadium. It's a 5 o'clock start. So what you need to do is you need to go to my X or Twitter account, which is at Schwartz Sports, or my Instagram at Peter Schwartz Sports, and just message me the word Sports Bash, and you'll be entered in to win. We've got some candidates already, so you still have some time left before we end the show, and we'll announce the winner before the end of the show. I also want, before we get to our last interview from the Paley Center, I'm going to let our update guy give us something happened at the Garden, a little change of events, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Remember when I said it was a 73 to 63 Pacers were leading?
Yeah.
Well,
Lots happened since then.
A lot could change within a half of a quarter, because right now, with 6 minutes and 41 seconds to go, the Knicks are leading by 5 points, 84 to 79, against the old rival of theirs, the Indiana Pacers.
Rick
They
Brunson
must be
apparently
on a serious run.
Well, they are. I have to look. I did catch something on Twitter that Brunson got hurt his foot, and he was out for a while. So I don't know if he came back in. I'm going to take a look. Let's see if we can find out.
I mean, he's the focal point.
Obviously, not watching the game, we don't have it on here. Brunson's only played 8 minutes in the game, and has let's see how many points does he have. He has 15 points.
Not bad.
Anunoby's got 36 points. Hart's got 31. DiVincenzo's got 25. Hartenstein's got 22. Now, we talked about this on the show, and we've talked about it off the air too. Not to stray away from the Yankee conversation that we were having, but this is why you love this Knicks team, because everybody
They find a way.
They pick everybody else up. And look at this performance that they're getting from Anunoby. Hart's got 11 rebounds. I like to see what DiVincenzo's 4 of 7 from three-point range. 84-79, Knicks are winning, and I think Vinny, I'll steal your thunder for just a little bit. Top of the ninth, Yankees leading 9-3 over the Astros. So if you want to see that Yankees-Astros game tomorrow and see the Yankees potentially go for the sweep, message me at Schwartz Sports on Twitter or X, and Peter Schwartz Sports on Instagram. Just message me the word Sports Bash, and you'll be entered to win. We have one more interview to go from the Paley Center and the Yes Network event on Monday night, and I just knew this was going to be a very, very warm and friendly interview, as Islanders co-owner John Ledecky, who I know is a big Yankees fan. I mean, if you ever watched Yankee games sometimes on Yes Network, and they catch a shot behind the Yankee dugout, and sometimes you see John Ledecky sitting in the seats. behind the Yankee dugout, and I have a great relationship with him, and it was very nice to see him the other night. And here's my little chat, part of which became a little viral the other day on social media because some Islander fans were interested in one of the last things he had to tell me. So let's catch up with John Ledecky, Islanders co-owner.
Let me just lastly ask you one question about the Islanders. Finished the season strong in the regular season. Obviously, the playoffs were a disappointment, but you've got Lou back and Patrick Roy is going to be back as head coach. How excited are you for what lies ahead in the offseason to see how this unfolds for next year?
I think Patrick having a full season and having a full training camp is going to be fantastic. And, you know, change is good. And Patrick had a third of a season, and look at the impact he had. So we're very excited about next year. Very excited that we have the stability moving forward with two Hall of Fame guys. I mean, they were doing the breakup press conference. We're sitting there going, gosh, those guys are both in the Hall of Fame. How great is that for Islander Nation to have those people leading our team?
And that was John Ledecky. That was actually just a portion of the interview. That may have been another Peter mess up that I may have sent Chris the wrong file to Dropbox, but there was a longer version. You know what we'll do? I'll throw that up on social media for people to watch the entire interview. And I also did post it on my my Islanders podcast, Double Chili Islanders podcast. So you can listen to the whole thing. I'll post the video later on tonight or tomorrow, so you can watch the whole thing. And again, another great guy, to talk to, and he's become.
And he loves you, Peter.
Oh, I listen. I don't know what I did, but I know the Islanders and Mr. Ledecky have been great to me and my family. And
well, we spoke about this the other day, though, and there's one thing that you should know about Peter, and he's just, yes, he's a reporter, but he's always very fair. He doesn't want to stir the pot. He wants to get to the facts. He wants the interesting story, and Peter always does a great job. And I think what's most important is that he's fair. He'll ask a tough question, but he'll always be fair when he's doing an interview. So I think people really appreciate your professionalism. You know, you're very professional. I mean,
well,
I'm okay.
You're okay. You're okay. But well, listen, I was told, and just excuse me for one moment while I check my Twitter to see, check for some more responses. And I think we're going to have an announcement on our winner in just a couple of moments. But I was told by somebody a couple of years after I got into the business, because I was still going to games as a fan. I still do. I probably go to more games as a fan now. I do go to more games as a fan now than I do as a reporter. And I've had people in the business tell me, you really shouldn't be a fan if you're in this business. You can't be impartial. Now, in my heart, I'm never impartial. I want my teams to win. But I can still turn it on and off. And I say this to everybody. If they ever came to me, whether it was WFAN or any of the places that I work, this show, if they say to me, you cannot be a fan anymore, you just have to be a reporter, then I would do something else for a living. I'm in this business because I'm a sports fan. You want to get in this business because you're a sports fan. We're all involved. Yeah. Anybody who goes into broadcasting, you're in it. How could you not still be a fan?
I mean, if I wasn't a fan, I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, the reason why I got into this is because, I care a lot about sports. I care a lot about history. And I try to stay as impartial as I possibly can. But I also know that even as a fan, I know that there's a lot of things that people still not know about. And I try to do whatever I possibly can to make sure more people know about it. And me being a fan, not only that, a younger fan, adds another dimension to that I hope more people see as time goes on.
I'm an Islanders fan, but I could admit if they have a bad game or they need to make a move or they need to do this, whether it's the Yankees, do they have enough pitching? Like, I can be a fan, but also tell the truth. Like, you don't want to, like, the worst thing that people in the media can do is tell the fans what they want to hear. You have to tell the fans what they need to hear. You could, in your heart of hearts, say, man, I really hope the Islanders, beat the crap out of the Rangers on Thursday night. But in your heart of hearts, as a reporter, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, not only that, as a reporter and also someone that speaks with other fans, you got to find that very, very fine line of trying to be truthful with them, but also you don't want to come off like you know more than anyone else, or you don't want to come off like you're above others, because fans are going to pick up on that and you're not going to get as much respect. But So what I really do appreciate is that you toe that line very, very carefully. And are there some that still criticize? Sure, that's going to happen regardless. But the relationship that you've built up have only increased your brand, and it will continue to increase our brands in the process.
Absolutely. Well, that was a great event on Monday night. And
That was
again,
great.
I can't stress enough how we want, not even just Yankee fans, but I think any baseball fan is going to be intrigued by that series on the Yes Network, The Story of My Number. The first episode is tomorrow. It's going to be the Aaron Boone episode. And one thing that I didn't mention before, Vinny, and you were there with me watching it, he was so into it too.
Oh, he
like,
loved
you
it.
could have a guy sitting
Yeah.
there and sit there and for an hour and have Gracie Cashman ask.
No, but he
ask
was
you
having
questions.
fun.
He was having
He
fun.
was having fun.
Again,
You could tell.
And I'm not going to tell you who it was because I want you to watch the show. But he got up there and did an imitation of a former Yankee, how he
Oh,
batted.
yes, he did.
That was very good.
He did a great
and
job.
He was very, and the whole theater was laughing
Yes,
because he was spot on with that imitation. So you're going to want to catch that. I think it's, I was looking for the time before, but maybe that's why that Yankee game is starting at 5:00 because I think it's 9:00 maybe that the special. I'm going to have to look it up, but look up on the Yes Network website. But it's going to be tomorrow night, May 9th, for the first episode. Aaron Boone. The future episodes are going to be Nick Switcher and Tino Martinez, Andy Pettit, CC Sabathia. I think there's one or two more that are going to be in there. And one of the other things John Ledecky told me during our interview, and again, we'll play the whole thing on social media, was that he's so intrigued by it that he wanted to pitch the Yes Network on doing one on the Islanders too. Because if you think about it, in the history of the Islanders, there's probably a million crazy numbers other than the four Stanley Cups and the 19 straight playoff series wins and 1,500 games coached by Al Arbor. There's got to be a million others. Any team could probably have a series like this if you do the research enough.
Yeah, you actually stole my thunder because I said, I wonder how long it's going to be. And there you go. I was going to say, how long is it going to be before somebody else picks up this idea and says, oh, this is great. We could do this show.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. I mean, again, as I said to a couple of the guys during the interviews, there's not many teams that you can probably do this extensive of a series on. The Yankees have been around for God knows how many years, since 1903, and have 27 championships. The Montreal Canadiens, maybe Boston Celtics in basketball.
Well, it would have to be a storied franchise, right? Number one. But they really pulled out so many innocuous numbers, right? Remember they were going through everything?
Watch it, and I'm going to have to watch it again because you watch a show and maybe something doesn't resonate as much. You have to watch it again. I can't wait to watch it again because maybe there was something that didn't stick in my brain because it was one great number after another, and by the time everybody was done, like an ooh and ah and laughing, maybe you missed something.
Yeah, I could attest to that. I mean, every time I watch Hangover, I catch something else.
A great movie.
Yeah.
We want to congratulate our ticket winner going to
good.
the Yankees and Astros game tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, night, 5:00.
5:00. Yeah.
5:00 afternoon.
Yeah.
Early evening.
Dinner time.
Jason Gomez, congratulations. You are our winner. So what you need to do is private message me with all your contact information, and we'll get you those 2 tickets for tomorrow night.
Jason, congratulations.
And a big job for you tomorrow night. Going to that Yankee game, you have to come up with the sweep because now you got the Yankees winning tonight 9-4, and that's 2 straight. So Jason Gomez, big responsibility tomorrow night. Jason, go get that sweep.
Well, actually, go get a broom, bring it to the stadium.
Hit the trash can with the broom. By the way, Knicks update. Knicks up 92-83.
Wow.
In the third quarter. What a turnaround.
What a
And
resilient
they're doing it
team.
without, again, they're
Brunson
doing it
is
without
still at
Caleb
8 minutes.
Oh, Brunson came back, it looks like. Did Brunson come back?
Well, if he has more points.
I have to apologize. I read the box score wrong before. So Brunson's got 10 points. DiVincenzo's got 20. Hartenstein's got 10. Hart's got 14. And Anunoby's only got 28. So it was not off by that much. I don't know where. I was looking at the wrong column. That's what happened. My fingers are too big for this phone. But the bottom line is Knicks are winning 92-86.
Wow.
So there you go.
The question I would have is how is Brunson going to be for the next game? And this team reminds me a lot of the 1999 team, the year that I was born, of course. Because they were a team that had Patrick Ewing not playing. They were the 8th seed, and they made it all the way to the finals. They had guys like Marcus Camby now in Houston, and Larry Johnson and John Starks. and they made it there. And yeah, they lost the Spurs in the end. But the fact of the matter is they weren't supposed to be there, and they made it. And they had the entire teamwork, great chemistry, good coaching, and a lot of this reminds me of this Knicks team in many different ways.
Yeah, a lot of these sports, when you get to these playoffs, a lot of it, you have to throw most of the regular season out. And if you have chemistry in an organization, the way you watch these Knicks play, you know, and listen, yes, I'm a rah-rah New York guy. So you watch the Knicks play, the chemistry they have on the court, they know where everybody's going to be. Sometimes Brunson does no-look alley-oops. You know, how's he doing that? They just know, and they practice.
And by the way, just as a side note, talking about the great event that was on at the Paley Center, we wound up departing in a few minutes early because we stumbled across 2 tickets for the Knicks game the other night that we were able to obtain, and wound up going there for the second half.
That was
the Knicks
exciting.
Game. That was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that was real cool.
That place was electric, and I'm sure
Electric.
it's electric tonight. I'm sure it was a little.
How about afterwards? They're still cursing out Embiid.
That's like walking out of the garden the other night, and some anti-Joel Embiid chants.
Cursing him out.
Absolutely.
I was like, guys, that was last
That
series.
was last series. You know,
Yeah.
come up with some new material, but
Get a new guy to hate.
yeah, there you go. Well, we'll see how the rest of this series with the Pacers goes. But again, thanks to everybody at the Paley Center and the Yes Network for having us there. It was a wonderful event. I can't stress enough how great this series, the story of my number, is going to be. Watch it every week on the Yes Network when they have the new episodes. And we look forward to working with the Yes Network and the Paley Center in the future on going to some more events and doing some more of these specials for them.
Absolutely. What's the show that you love there?
The Masked Singer.
The Masked
Oh, we'll be
Singer.
back for that. Yeah, the Schwartz family is going back for that
Yes.
one. Actually, Sarah Palin, Ron Duguay's girlfriend, was on the
She was
the
on an
show. She was
episode,
she
right?
was a contestant.
Yeah.
I forgot what her character was,
Yeah.
but she was on the episode, and they had a whole bunch of the outfits that were there, like the character outfits.
Yeah.
I don't know what was behind the doors that when they take you on the rest of the tour, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's an interesting show. It's fun.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, I always, people always say, well, I don't feel that way. I disagree. I said, well, that's why the Gap sells different color shirts, right? You don't walk into the Gap. Everything in the store is red, right? No,
Yeah.
they have red and white and blue. I don't get the Masked Singer.
Okay.
I don't get it.
That's like-
I don't get it.
I completely get it. And you know why? Because Fox, the same network that had American Idol before, ABC took it over, they needed a new cash cow. And Max Singer was doing very big in, I think, Japan, if I'm not mistaken. And it's caught on here in America, if not even bigger here.
And they got a good panel, good people on the show. It's funny, it's entertaining, and it makes you think because you have to keep an eye on the clues to find out who's under that mask.
Oh, they
So
give you clues during the
give
show?
they give you
Oh,
a clue
okay.
package,
Give you
and
clues.
you have to if let's say it was Joe Namath under the
mask.
under the mask, right? They would show like a clue package. You may see like a banner that says Alabama on it, and you may see a football. Like, oh, it's a football player that went to Alabama. Now you have to start to think, who does it sound like? So you have to,
Oh,
and
okay.
every week they have a different clue package.
There you go. Okay.
So it's fun. I can't wait to go see that.
Still not watching it.
exhibit. Okay. so when they are, do you need tickets for the Greco family too? No.
No.
No, absolutely not.
We'll pass.
Does the Las Benuso family want to go?
I mean, my parents don't really watch, but the way I see it, I'm down for going to anything.
All right.
I
Well,
love museums.
We'll see what we can do.
We love the kids.
Before we say goodbye for the night, just want to preview the regular episode of Sports Bash that we're going to have tomorrow. We'll have a complete recap of the Knicks-Pacers game tonight. We'll talk more about the Yankees, Astros, Mets, and Cardinals got rained out. We'll preview the Rangers, Hurricanes, but we're also going to spend a few minutes on the show. This is a great local Long Island story. We're going to be talking to LIU women's lacrosse head coach Megan McNamara Cafiro. The LIU Lady Sharks are on their way to the NCAA tournament on Friday, round one, against Virginia. So we're going to talk to her. I have a chance to do their play-by-play for their television broadcast for the men's and the women. So we're going to talk to her, congratulate her for a few moments and get a feel of how the girls are preparing for what's going to be a really tough battle with Virginia. And also the Stony Brook women are going to the NCAA tournament. They're going to play Niagara on Friday. So it's a big lacrosse week for Long Island. So we're going to have that tomorrow, take people's phone calls and all the usual fun that we've been having on our
exciting.
first week.
Great
So-
first week.
So that'll do it for this special edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Sports Bash also sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, the Falcone Law Firm, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and Ready Set Studios, who hosted us here tonight at our future studio. So
Thank
stay
you,
tuned.
Chris.
Yes, thank you, Chris, and the entire staff here for a great job tonight. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching and listening. We're back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, for our regular daily edition of Sports Bash on LI News Radio, as well as Facebook and YouTube and all the other places